Welcome to the SAP HANA Academy. My name is Jamie, and in this set of videos, we're working with hierarchy functions in SAP HANA SQL. In this particular video, we'll be looking at the hierarchy siblings function. The function name is telling you exactly what it's going to do and returns a tabular result of all the siblings, or more technically, nodes which share the same parent IDs, for one or more input nodes. Please note that this functionality is new to HANA 2.0 and therefore will not work on earlier versions. The prerequisites to this lesson are the first two videos on the main hierarchy function and the video on the hierarchy ancestors function. In those videos, we created a sample table, and it's the same table that we'll use for this lesson. Links to those videos are, of course, in the description of this video if you're watching this on the HANA Academy YouTube channel. There you can also find a link to the code used in the video, which is in the HANA Academy's GitHub repository should you wish to copy this syntax and follow along with what I'm doing. Getting back to our hierarchy siblings function, it has two inputs where the source must be the tabular result of a hierarchy function. That source can either come from an existing table or be generated on the fly, which is what we'll do. The start specification can be used as a filter using columns generated in the hierarchy or siblings function, or it can also be used to specify the additional tabular result set to be used as an input. You would have seen examples of using an additional table input in the hierarchy ancestors video, which was one of this video's prerequisites. In the syntax from the Academy GitHub repository, we'll derive a hierarchical record set in lines 1 to 12 that we'll use later on in the siblings function as the source input on line 15. Also in the siblings function, we have a start where filter of F1C1 for the node ID. Just as a quick review on what the hierarchy function output looks like, we'll run lines 2 to 11, and we see that there are 8 columns, with the last one being parent ID. If we look at the record for the F1C2 node, we can see that it has a parent ID of F1B1. So when we do run the full syntax in a bit, we should see only nodes with that particular parent. After running that syntax, we can see 2 additional columns on top of the 8 main hierarchy columns, and these can of course be used to filter your query, and the sibling distance field is especially useful. If we go back to our syntax and make a couple of quick changes, which are the addition of a top one to the select, plus a where clause which uses the sibling distance column. In the where clause, by setting a distance not equal to 0, we're basically saying that we don't want to return the original start node of F1C2 in our result set. Combined with the top one, we're going to return the closest sibling to the start node, whether or not that closest sibling is before or after the start node in the hierarchy results. This in turn brings us back F1C1 as the closest sibling. If you remember the picture of our data from the previous videos where we have 2 corporate structures, we have the relationship of F1C1 and F1C2 showing that they have the same parent node. This now concludes the lesson on using the hierarchy siblings function in SAP HANA SQL. Thanks for watching.